So to get us started, I'd love to know what was the most challenging aspect to play of playing Kay Summersby?
What was the most challenging aspect? I mean, I guess it was to not be sort of one note with Stag's character, to not be just like I'm against him and that she was sort of a little bit open-minded about him. And open-minded about everybody's predictions and everyone's thoughts or whatever, that she was a little bit more evolved than seeing things in black and white, and then also to kind of to play the reality of the situation, like, while D-Day was a success,
Yeah.
ultimately lives were still lost, and I wanted Kay to sort of reflect that, that she kind of knew the reality of the situation, that like ultimately while they did, land on the beach, there were a lot of lives lost. To just
Yeah.
play more nuances was the challenge I felt.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think something that was really interesting, when I was watching the film was sort of how different types of power function. You have like loud, boisterous voices like Eisenhower and Stagg, and then you have, voices like Kay that might, softer, more, emotionally driven power. I'd love to know sort of how do you think Kay reflects power in the film?
Well, I think it's interesting that when the men are at their lowest ebbs, it's like that she's the one who's kind of there for them. When
Mhm.
like their mental health is sort of suffering, like it's Kay's the one who's able to help them and be a nurturing force at that time. Um, that's probably what I thought.
Yeah. I think Eisenhower and Kay have a really, interesting dynamic. How did you and Brendan Fraser work to develop that relationship?
Well, obviously, I think the scenes, when he's alone with her, when he's being very honest about regrets and mistakes that he's made in the past with his decisions, and he's really struggling. I think those were much more tender human moments. That's almost when she's not seeing him as like a general, when she's just seeing him as a person.
Yeah.
And then the tone sort of shifts for both of them when they're out in public with everyone, and he has to be imposing and he has to do his job, and likewise for her. So it was kind of playing those two different characters depending on yeah, if they were public or private.
Yeah. And what do you hope audiences take away from Pressure?
Well, I hope audiences like learn a little bit more about, the backstory of D-Day, which I did not know. I didn't know this story was true or that it existed. And I hope that they also reflect on all the lives that were lost.
Mhm.
There is some real footage of the soldiers in the movie and real footage
Yeah.
that was taken from D-Day, and that people sort of reflect on war, and like that ultimately, like, is a win a win? Like, is the outcome ever to be celebrated?
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the time I have. Thank you so much, Carrie. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.